thought this was the most appropriate song.
I'm a soul man.
Wait a minute. We gotta make it fit. There we go.
I'm a soul man.
We should have the rest of your staff in the back seat with the horns. The band. You're welcome into Carpooling with Ben, folks. You know, we tend to think about veterans, especially this time of year, when we're coming up to Veterans Day, but there's an organization in the state of Rhode Island that has come a long way since really its inception and its installation of its first ever leader. No, ladies and gentlemen, he's not Big Papi, he's not David Ortiz, he is Director of Rhode Island Office of Veterans Affairs, Kasim Yarn, rocking the Red Sox
Thanks,
today.
my man.
Look at you, you look great.
Sweet Caroline,
Oh,
baby. Sweet Caroline. How sweet it is.
Oh, it was a beautiful
Tears of joy. You know, for the longest time, you know, as Red Sox members, loyal Red Sox Nation members, we struggled with the process in terms of are we ever going to get over the hump. Now it's commonplace. Now our children are being born in America.
I know.
They're Red Sox winning championships. It's commonplace.
It's really unfortunate because kids under the age of 2 in Boston have never experienced the championship parade. So thankfully, with the recent win, they've experienced that, and everything is wonderful for them now. But to touch back, I mean, unless we're going to have you sign, and I know you got the tie there. You look very, very, very dapper.
I feel at home.
Absolutely,
I'm comfortable in my own skin.
But you are a Navy veteran first and foremost,
Thanks, sir.
A great family man, and you have taken this office and this department to a whole new level, and you continue to go above and beyond. When's the last time you had a legitimate day off?
Is there such a thing?
They do exist somewhere.
You know, but I look back 3 years ago, and the governor, when I did interview with the governor for the position, it was 45 minutes. I remember like it was yesterday. She and I have a little different how the interview went, but at the end of the day, she said a couple things that I always would stick with me forever. This job entails you to be out in the public, leaning forward, listening to our veteran population. My job is dictated by listening to our veterans. And there's something to be said about that. You know, the history of me being in the military was, you know, management 101, management by walking around.
Sure.
Listening to the subordinates, listening to your customers, listening to our veterans, listening to our family members.
Yeah.
And because as I've shared with you before, Ben, 70% of our veteran population are over age 55.
Wow.
Our customers now are coming in are not the veterans, it's their family members.
Yeah.
And so we also got to be attuned to what their needs are and to make sure systems are in place to support their concerns and address their needs immediately.
Well, you say listening is part of the job, and, you know, really there's a lot of people out there who listen. You guys and your men and women, the staff that you have working for you and volunteers, you not only listen, you respond and you act, which is a big deal when it comes to our veterans, and you act in really short order. We're not talking weeks or a 30-day period.
No, we're talking about days and minutes.
Yeah.
It's just as simple. People call our office, they're surprised. Director of Veteran Affairs, you pick up the phone and answer it? I'm like, yeah, I'm a veteran. But I think it goes back to what I learned early on in my military career is about taking care of your people. In order to do that, if you don't do a good job at taking care of your people, number one, they're not going to take care of you, and number three, more importantly, you won't be in that position that very long.
Sure.
So at the very least, take care of your people.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about taking care of your people, we're talking about our veterans, but we're also talking about our staff members as well. Treat them with mutual respect and honor them to listen to their needs, because, you know, granted, the boss taking time off, but our staff members, they need to take time off.
Sure.
By all means, take as much time as you need to charge your battery. That way, when you come back, you're refreshed, ready to go. And for the director, this is, to quote a movie, this is the business that I've chosen.
Yep.
And so we'll figure out the time to get some downtime. But at the end of the day, I get to sleep in my own bed. And so that was one of the biggest takeaways from serving in the Navy for 25 years, to being able to come home at the end of the day. And unfortunately, for the majority of my naval career, I wasn't afforded that opportunity because serving this great nation. well, the deployments, what have you. So now at the end of the day, I am home. I get to sleep in my own bed, and so I have solace in that.
Well, you do that, and because of your team and the work and really the incredible, just nonstop attitude you guys have, a lot of people now in our state, a lot of veterans sleep soundly in their bed, which, well, for some, they may not have had a bed in the past, but we've got great organizations like Operation Stand Down Rhode Island.
Absolutely.
Who are working out there.
25 years they've carried the water.
It's a hand up, not a hand,
out.
out, which is a model that falls right in line with what your mission is.
Absolutely.
But so when you're out there, folks, and you see the veterans and you see the various events that are happening, Kasim, the director, is not far behind. He's somewhere, usually helping out. I mean, you have to speak at some point, but you're helping somebody get in with a wheelchair or a walker, or you're bringing somebody a coffee or water. I mean,
just the little things.
You are the very definition of a servant to our veterans. So I mean, and I know you hate the fact that I'm just sitting here blowing this, at you, but
hate's a strong
it's
word.
true.
But we know when leadership, and I'm a very spiritual person as well. When leaders, you got to humble yourself. The scriptures teaches us leaders need to be humbled. And if I'm not willing to get down to our most needy of veterans, the most needy of warriors, what am I in this business for?
Yeah.
I have been blessed, beautiful home, beautiful family, beautiful job. I get to give back to a state that gives me so much. My wife is from Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. Our children were educated in the public school system in Rhode Island. Yeah. I own a home here in Rhode Island. I don't own a home anywhere else in America, here in Rhode Island. I got my degrees, both bachelor's and master's degree, in New England. No other place I want to be, no beautiful area. The best beaches in the world are here in Rhode Island.
Great seafood too.
Oh, phenomenal! hey, how you doing? Forget about it. Ocean State.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. Talk to me about some of the things as we're coming into Veterans Day and coming in through the holidays. What are some of the needs that are out there right now that you're aware of, or what can you share with our viewers and folks? If you're watching this and you know somebody who's a veteran who may need some assistance, if you can share this episode with them, great. But if not, play it for them, or just take down the information and contact your office. But what are some of those needs that are out there right now?
Well, so let's start to look at our veteran population at large. 70% of our veteran population are age 55. So that group of our veteran population, they don't utilize social media, the Facebooks of the world. And some are, but by and large, they're not. But they need access to benefits and to know that entitlement, what their benefits are nonetheless. So this is why I personally engage with doing town hall events. Mm-hmm. I got my first in series starting those back up again November the 17th. I'm doing a town hall event in Smithfield.
Excellent.
So I'm going all the way up to Smithfield.
It's a long way away.
at the senior center. And so because what we've learned early on, that senior centers, those municipalities that have senior centers, are a focal point and the livelihood of that municipality.
Sure.
So I'm doing town halls at the senior centers to partner with the Division of Elderly Affairs. We have the local VFW, American Legion, the Veteran Service Organizations for that region. They're going to be there. I've invited leadership from our Providence VA Medical Center and Benefits Office, because for that segment of our population, the overwhelming majority question they have deals with mental health care and benefits.
Okay. Who
better to answer that question than the head of those organizations that I just mentioned?
Sure.
And the beauty about it is, I can pick up the phone, I can call the Director McKenzie.
Yeah.
I can about a veteran that have a question, a common concern about the medical center. I can pick up the phone and talk to Director E.J. McQuaid.
Yeah.
We have a veteran that has a question about the benefits office. And this is why I love Rhody so much, because we are so close knit. We can have the ability to pick up the phone and drive 20 minutes somewhere to go to the various events.
Yep.
To provide that outreach and services. So doing the outreach does target that segment of our veteran population. So I'm going back out and continue to go outreach to those at the various town hall events throughout all the municipalities. That's one. Our website, because we have a strong segment of our population that utilize mobile devices, the social media. So we have to have a strong presence on the internet. Our website, Vets.RI.Gov, to which you can also reach out to us directly in that capacity. If you send us email through that link, I get that email, my staff members get that email. within 24, 48 hours, somebody guaranteed is going to respond to that email that you send us. It is just that mission critical that we provide that type of customer service to all of our family, because that could be me as a veteran. I could be on the other line needing some help.
Sure.
Regarding our veterans that are transitioning back home, I meet at they're required to go to transition assistance class. That's a week-long course that's held in Newport. I provide 15 minutes open remarks for every convening class. On average, we average anywhere from 25 to 40 veterans that are servicemen that are transitioning back, to include our Guard members that are transitioning back home to civilian life. So I provide open remarks, giving them my information in terms of what they need to do in terms of reaching out to our office, the advocating for benefits, what have you, and who the points of contact to talk to at state agency, as well as our federal partners, and down to the grassroots level inside our municipalities as well. We launched December last year, Rhode Island Serves. So that's a collaborative network. So we started out, we had 26 providers. Now we're over to 44 providers. So everyone in our network have a no wrong door approach. So if I come into your office, I come into my office, if I can help that veteran with my services, I can take a systematic approach and get that veteran access in a timely manner to the services that he or she needs.
I think the most important element to all this is you've worked that database and really refined it, so the veteran, whether it's a man or woman, old or young, is not explaining themselves and the basic information over and over and over, because that can be frustrating.
It's very frustrating for anyone.
Yeah.
And to remove those barriers, and now at the end of the day, if I'm a veteran family member, I know there's an organization that I can go talk to, and we have a facility, and we have phone numbers, we have internet access, email addresses, all of those nuances associated with providing service to our veteran population. And we're getting it right. Are we all the way there? No. So we know that we still have veterans that are homeless, at risk. So we need to make sure that we're providing those type of services, to bolster those services, to help support all the nonprofits, the state agencies, the private sector businesses that are out there doing the great work out in the community. Support those events, some of which may require legislation, some of them may require some guidance from the governor's office, some of it may require one-on-one better coordination across agencies.
Yeah.
Well, that's our job as leaders, is to identify, listen to our customers, identify what their concerns are, and come together with an action plan to include all stakeholders, to get us all in a room together and identify where the seams are, and to partner to work together. And so I thank you for giving me some credit on this, but my motto is it really takes a village. The nonprofits, the veteran service organizations, the municipalities, our other state agencies, and the governor's office, our judicial services, our veteran treatment court is the tops in the nation. Yeah. Well, we all can do a little bit more. We all can do a little bit more giving in terms of volunteers. I'm getting non-veteran members calling me weekly. Hey, director, how can we volunteer? How can we get involved? So now we host a volunteer section on our website.
That's great.
So we have 7 distinct different opportunities that a non-veteran, anyone that wants to volunteer, go to our website, and it's up to you to pick based on your time and effort. We're not talking, this is what's the beauty about Rhode Island, as you know, it's about volunteering. Yeah. You know that for a fact, the importance of volunteering. Sure. So we have 7 different unique ways that you can volunteer your time to support our veterans across the Ocean State. That's
so great. Businesses who want to connect with you guys, and if they say, hey, look, we have positions we need to fill, you guys have resources as well. So
absolutely.
Put our veterans to work that are looking for great careers out there. I mean, look, we've got a lot of great businesses here in Rhode Island, and you've got a great lead on a lot of different talents out there, and so I hope folks will reach out to you.
To include, if our veterans want to do entrepreneur program, they want to open their own business, we're director of self-magaziner. Our state treasurer just launched a program today, announcement. They're saying, hey, we're going to do matching funds, 2-to-1 matching funds for those veterans that need assistance. They want to start their own business or need help managing their business.
Fantastic.
The state is up the ante and going all in to support our veterans, especially when it comes to those that want to own their own business or those that are struggling right now to maintain their business. We have avenues to support you as well.
You should probably maybe next year look into taking some classes just to break you out of your shell a little bit.
What classes?
I mean, I don't know, something to help you maybe, to raise your voice a little bit and speak up because really I don't know. You seem kind of shy, director.
Yeah, but you know what? Can I tell you?
Please.
Can we share a secret? Just
sure. Between you, me, and the 5 GoPros.
Just us in the circle. I struggled when I was younger. I struggled with public speaking.
Did you really?
It was bad. I remember one year I was in middle school. I ran for student body president, and I couldn't get out the phrase, "I am a member of the National Honor Society."
Wow.
And I stumbled my way through that, and I got laughed off the stage.
Ooh.
And at that point, I thought, I was like, oh my goodness. And I struggled with that mentally down the road till I took classes.
Yeah.
Public speaking classes.
Well, they've paid off in great dividends.
Boss University.
and let me tell you something. They've paid off, and I know all the veterans in the state of Rhode Island that have come into contact with your office, and especially that beautiful new veterans home we have down there in Bristol, Rhode Island, is truly a gem. Folks, if you're looking to get involved, you heard the director say it right on the website. You can volunteer, and it's great to give back, especially as we go through. Always good to have you in the vehicle, sir. And
our time is up already.
It's quick. I think we should maybe we'll sing a little bit. I don't know.
I think there's a lemonade close.
Oh well then.
Remember last time we
yes
we talked about Dells.
I'll take it.
I
never met a Dells I didn't like. Director Yarn, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
as
sir.
always, happy Veterans Day to you.
Amen.
Thank
You
you
as
for your
well.
service,
Thank
and
you
thank
for
you
your service as well.
to all your staff and great people.
Go Sox.